Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DGS. We have new witnesses at the stand. Well, actually, there are only two witnesses, apparently. Pat and Lola, who are both couples. One is a beat officer. I'm sure you can tell who is the beat officer. So, he's about to tell us his testimony, so let's get to work. Or maybe not him. What we witness.
That night was our anniversary. We were heading out to dinner, still in uniform. That's when we noticed two figures across the street walking along. Suddenly, one of them collapsed and the others scattered something and fled. The two of us came running and reported the incident at a nearby police station. The one who fled the scene was the Japanese defendant. Pat and I both saw him clearly.
Are you sure Pat did?
This is quite a decisive testimony. This police officer couple clearly saw Soseki-sama's face. If this testimony is true, then the possibilities we established in our final appeal earlier will be completely blown away.
Of course. Such possibilities never existed to begin with.
In any case, what a harsh thing to suffer on one's first wedding anniversary. That's true, but we must thank God that we even had the opportunity to go out that evening at all. London's beat officers certainly do have a difficult time.
However, this cross-examination will be wrapped up quickly. You can use the rest of the day for relaxation. What do you mean? They clearly saw the face of the person who fled the scene of the crime. And there can be no mistake that it was the defendant, Natsumi Soseki. I'm sure I don't need to state the significance of the words of Scotland Yard's beat officer. But the one who actually testified was his wife. He has a point there.
Now then, defense, prepare yourself for the cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Oops! Ah, stylus! Still in uniform. What do you mean by that? Are you a beat officer as well?
Oh no, unfortunately as of now in London, women, children and the elderly are not permitted to be beat officers.
Well, I think it's only natural that children and the elderly wouldn't be permitted.
Pat looks so smart in his uniform, isn't that right, dear? Oh yes, I had just finished my shift. So I was heading back to the police station with Lola so I could change and we could go out.
Suddenly he's giving unnervingly coherent testimony.
I'd have preferred him to stay in uniform though. Without that uniform, I have a hard time recognizing him for a second.
That was an awfully troubling statement she just made.
In any case, he had finished his shift and you two were about to go to dinner. Yes, to be honest, I was exhausted after having been on patrol from morning to night. But for this, I must give my everything.
What is that thing?
It's a secret police ID, carried only by London beat officers. It contains useful information that all beat officers should know. Beat officers must patrol the city of London, preserving the peace for the Imperial City citizens. Yes, that's why we don't mind patrolling 20 miles a day. If it's for the sake of our citizens, just wandering around the city is our pleasure.
Something about that doesn't seem quite right.
But on the day I was determined to celebrate our anniversary, I'm always busy and have to leave her all alone, so I had to do this for my darling Lola. Oh, Lola. Oh, Pat.
Oh my god.
How beautiful. What a breathtaking example of married love.
I can't help finding it just a teeniest bit annoying.
So, what happened next?
Two figures.
Yes, they were coming towards us along Briar Road. There was a large round figure with a shorter, slender figure behind it. That's a pretty accurate description of the picture defendant and Soseki-sama, isn't it?
You've got a point. The lady victim is pretty plump. There were no other figures on the walkway at the time, correct? Well, besides you two.
Yes, it was already dark, but the walkway was lit with gas lanterns. There was no one else there, right, dear? Oh, that's right. It was a bit foggy out, but Briar Road is straight, so you could see quite far. The gas lanterns were lighting the way too, so I doubt we could have missed anyone.
Before you sleep, answer me this. You're absolutely certain, correct?
Yes, as a bright-eyed beat officer who patrols the city, I can say so with certainty. As certain as my feelings for my beloved Lola. Oh, Lola. Pat.
So there was no one else at the scene of the crime but the victim and the attacker. It looks like that really is an unmistakable fact.
This puts us in an even tighter corner.
Well, Soseki-san fled that scene and was arrested.
I feel that the court has a clear understanding of the events leading up to the attack. So, what happened after that?
Scattered something? What do you mean?
Oh, yes, we didn't know at the time that it was that he had... Yes, we didn't know at the time what it was that he had dropped, but when we saw the crime scene later, we saw them. Right, dear? Oh, yeah, they were. Yes, the old books, of course. Oh, old books, you say? Yes, there were several volumes dotted around the collapse victim. Indeed, we can see them clearly in this photo. Actually, the criminal Japanese man dropped them when he committed the evil deed.
We still haven't proven that it was the defendant.
But we saw him! There's no doubt it was him! His mustache, his pitiful hunchback, his droopy eyes, nose, and mouth. We saw it all!
Most of that sounded like an insult just now.
It's true! That Japanese man glared down at the fallen victim with fearsome eyes. Then suddenly he dropped the books he was carrying and ran.
Really? This is bad. They don't seem to be lying. As I thought, there is no room for doubt at this beat officer and his wife's testimony. You may continue your testimony.
Sir!
Oh. So the one who notified the police was your beat officer husband?
No, it was me, the wife of this proud beat officer. Isn't that right, dear?
Good lord, he's not gonna have a neck by the end of this.
Yes, I asked her to go. I had finished my shift by then, but as a beat officer, I had a duty to keep an eye on the scene of the crime.
Indeed, crime scene preservation is an important duty of a beat officer.
That's why I sent Lola. I told her how to get to the beat supervisor station.
Excuse me, but what's a beat supervisor?
According to where a crime takes place, that determines which beat will supervise the investigation. The walkway where the victim had collapsed wasn't part of my beat, so I told my darling Lola how to get to the proper station. I quickly ran to the station and called some officers. I guess you could call it romantic cooperation.
Thanks to that, the incident was seen to be to a swift conclusion. You are the very paragon of London citizens.
Oh, well, you're embarrassing me, right, dear?
Oh?
I agree. Lola is the best. Oh.
Please continue your testimony. But it seems unlikely that you would have been able to see his face with just the light from the gas lanterns.
Excuse you? You have a lot of nerve underestimating a Londoner's eyes.
Oh dear, don't do that. Huh?
The light of the gas lamps was more than enough. I mean, say what you will, but the irritating fog was fairly thin that night.
Right. The fog, you say? Poor Pat.
London is known throughout the world for its fog. But for us as Londoners, it goes far beyond the level of simply being known. See, on days when the fog is thick, you can't see your hand in front of your face.
Alright, I understand. Would you please quit jerking your husband around?
Our eyes are tempered daily by the fog. That's how it can be so certain that the attacker was that Japanese man. Isn't that right, dear? Oh, yes, it was definitely the defendant. His mustache, his pitiful hunchback, his droopy eyes, nose and mouth. We saw it all!
At the very least, we can be sure that this couple is convinced. The figure who fled the scene of the crime was Soseki-san. So that was the whole testimony, huh?
What do you think, Naruhodō-sama?
I'd rather not say what my impression is after listening to the testimony, but it seems like Lola-san and her husband really did witness Soseki-san as he fled the scene of the crime on Briar Road that day.
I got the same feeling.
But if that's true, then what does that mean for us?
I am certain at this time the jurors will all register decisions for guilty.
But what the heck am I supposed to do?
If it were Kazuma-sama in this situation...
If it were a Sogi, what would he do?
I believe he would look for a contradiction in some other part of the testimony.
Another part?
There's nothing to be gained by quibbling over whether the person they saw really was Soseki-sama. If you can point out some other contradiction in that couple's testimony, you can call into question whether their memories as witnesses are really accurate.
I see.
Either way, if we don't find some sort of contradiction in this testimony, then the trial will come to a close. That seems like a rather distinct possibility.
Oof. I'm really in a tough spot.
May I say something, Mr. Attorney?
Yes? What is it?
I've been hearing you two mumbling some awfully trivial things over there. Could it be that you're doubting our testimony?
Ours? More like yours. No, that wasn't my intention at all.
As a beat officer's wife, I saw him good and clear. For example, yes, there was some old books lying around the crime scene, right? I even remember every title of those books. And yet you would try to arrest such a wife?
Are you finished yet?
No, I'm not! That Japanese man over there doesn't understand what sort of wife I am. I may be able to forgive you for that, but Pat certainly won't.
Sorry, please, your husband.
The court grants this heroic witness permission to amend her testimony. Will that appease you, young lady?
Poor Pat.
Yes, I believe I'll take you up on that. Right, dear? Not only that, but I remember distinctly even the titles of all 4 books the attacker dropped.
Was it 4 books? It does indeed seem that there were some old books lying at the crime scene. Naturally, they were purchased from the used bookshop by the defendant, Natsume.
When I came back from the police station where I'd gone to gather some other officers, I was scared, but I figured out to at least look over the scene of the crime. As an officer's wife, in Pat's stead.
Incidentally, what was your husband doing at that time?
He'd done a faceplant into the snow and had fallen asleep. My poor dear must have been exhausted. Oh, you work so hard, don't you, my love?
As a police officer, shouldn't he have been keeping watch over the crime scene?
Well, since you mentioned it, why not tell us the title of the books that were lying around the crime scene? Ah, it would be an honor. Listen up now, everyone. The portrait of What's-His-Face was one of them, right? And then there was The Tale of Something or Other. The next one was Some Sort of Passion, and the last one, yes, Whatchamacallit and the Sea. What do you think about that?
I think we need a dictionary and explain to you what clarity means. Remembering stuff clearly. Well, since you're asking, I was kind of thinking that those titles sounded a bit vague.
Well, close enough.
There were indeed books with titles along those lines, lying about the crime scene.
See, I told you. And you were all ready to arrest me, spouting about how I couldn't be trusted. What do you think, Pat? Oh, you're bullying, Lola. I'll shoot you dead. Ooh, ho, ho, ho.
Welp. His face certainly looks serene in sleep. There was nothing serene about what he said, though. Alright, now we're gonna present something. Oh, last statement, then. About how we're remembering the books. Crime scene photo. Where art thou? Is that it? Hey! You said he dropped 4 old books at the crime scene.
That's right, and I remember every last one of them. The portrait of What's-His-Face, The Tale of Something or Other, Some Sort of Passion, and Whatchamacallit and the Sea.
I deeply regret to inform you that there is one large problem with that bit of testimony.
What might that be?
At the scene of the crime, there should have been only 3 old books.
Huh?
Please, look at this photo of the crime scene. As you can see, there are no more books, no more than 3 books.
Oh, that can't be. I mean, I'm sure I saw. Oh, I see what's going on. Yes, that must be it.
What?
That corpse is in the way. There should be one more book hiding in the shadow of that giant dead body. You simply can't see it here.
I'm pretty sure the victim didn't die, though. Unfortunately, Lola-san, it's impossible for Soseki-san to have dropped 4 books, without a doubt.
Huh?
Fascinating. If you're going to say so with such authority, certainly you must have some proof. Proof, huh?
In that case, the court would like the defense to present proof. Proof that the defendant did not drop 4 books.
The receipt? That would be this receipt, of course.
The Raggedy Bookshop?
The details of the books the defendant purchased at the used bookshop on the day of the attack are written here. But that number is no more than 3.
But...
Soseki-san couldn't have dropped more than 3 books, which means the witness's powers of observation are incorrect. Therefore, the testimony claiming that the attacker they witnessed was the defendant could possibly be a mistake as well.
What?
I like how Pat just kind of fell over. Pat will protect you from Baroque. It would seem the unfortunate one here is you, Japanese boy. What? These witnesses saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Surely you must know that you cannot possibly hope to challenge that fact. You merely tried to distract us with that trifling contradiction. Isn't that right? You saw right through me. However, in doing so, your little scheme seems to have had exactly the opposite effect. What do you mean? It's simple. That hard-working beat officer's wife's testimony was correct. Completely. There, on the Briar Road crime scene, there were unmistakably 4 old books lying on the ground. But the crime scene photo, it only shows 3 books, does it not? Indeed, there are only 3 as far as one can see from that photo. That photo? You can't mean... I have here one other photo of the victim's hand. There it is. That's the 4th book. As you can see, the photo book was hidden from sight by the victim's body. That's ridiculous! Order, order, order!
See? Look at that! Take a good hard look!
Yes, ma'am.
It's just as I said, right, dear? It certainly is. My Lola's the strongest.
Let us examine the receipt for the older books the defendant purchased on the day of the crime. Witness, if you be so kind as to tell us the names of the books you saw, one more time.
The portrait of what's-his-face?
The portrait of Monsieur Lecoq. Lecoq. Lecoq?
Some sort of passion?
Canterbury Passion.
Whatchamacallit in the sea?
Gabaroo and the Sea. So far, every single one of the books she has referred to has been correct. She must be commended for that remarkable memory of hers.
I got a compliment! Dear, did you hear that? I certainly did! A toast to my Lola!
So then, the 4th book, the one not written on this receipt. You shouldn't even need to think about it. Naturally, it is the 4th book shown in this photo. However, it is odd. Why wasn't the 4th book written on the receipt? There's nothing odd about it. As you can see, the victim was carrying the 4th book in her hand. In other words, the book belonged to the victim herself. The victim had her own book? Incidentally, what happened to that 4th book? Scotland Yard did not overlook it, of course. I've been holding on to this evidence for safekeeping.
Very well, the court accepts these into evidence.
As you wish. Crime scene photo number 2. The other photo the police took right after the attack shows the victim's hand. The 4th book. The book titled The Adventures of the Lion's Mane, discovered at the scene of the crime. I feel like we might have heard that title somewhere at one point. That is all. With this, the prosecution's proof is complete. What? Isn't it obvious, Japanese boy? All your efforts up to this point have been in vain. With your final appeal, you trotted out the useless possibility of the defendant having taken the long way home. And then you pointlessly tried to cast doubt on this witness's memory. I guess in the end he's right.
That's right. We told the truth just as we saw it. Right, dear? Oh, Lola, please marry me.
Aren't you already married? And now I would like to ask the jurors to share their thoughts one more time. Is there any need to prolong this trial any further in order to judge this Japanese man? I once more call upon our jurors' wide discretion. All testimony and evidence related to this case has been thoroughly examined. There is no need for the trial to continue.
Naruhodō-sama, this is an incredibly dangerous situation.
I know, but I raise a poorly thought out objection now, it'll only have the opposite effect. What will I do now, Naruhodō Ryūnosuke? You're gonna raise an objection!
One moment, please.
It's too late, defense. Your cross-examination was your final chance to make a rebuttal. And you just concluded that. Our examination here is complete. That may be, but... Crap. What am I supposed to say? The words won't come.
A word, please, prosecutor. To say that our examination is complete seems a touch unreasonable.
I suppose this is all we can expect from that anarchical Oriental Island country. At this stage of the trial, a mere legal aid should keep her mouth shut. Okay, that's just uncalled for. As a defense attorney, I am incredibly inexperienced. So, I apologize, but I need the advice of a legal aid.
Naruhodō-sama.
Our country is built upon a spirit of open-mindedness, so the court will acknowledge the words of the legal aid. Susato-san, go ahead. Bless you too. In that case, let us hear what the legal aid has to say. What could possibly require further examination?
After the conclusion of the cross-examination, new evidence was presented.
So in other words, what is this piece of evidence that needs further investigation?
What do you think, Naruhodō-sama? If we can present some definitive evidence here, perhaps the judge will accept the juror's decision.
Okay, we'll take a moment to actually look at one of our new pieces of evidence before we continue. Is this examined? Thank you. I'm like, I forgot how to do this.
The title of this book is Adventure of the Lion's Mane.
I don't know the name of a single piece of British literature. So, naturally, I've never heard of... Wait. Did you say Adventure of the Lion's Mane? I wonder why. I can't help feeling like I've heard this title recently. Me too.
Actually, me too.
Alright, let's turn this around and look. Oh! Oh!
Oh my, look! Right here! It's badly burnt!
Looks like this book might have came from Gyakuten estate. You can't read it like that, especially the second half.
It's quite a waste. Judging by the burn marks, it seems to have been burned very recently.
A book that was burned very recently. Something about this that's bothering me. Updated. the back cover is badly burned. Alright, now that we got that in.
Naturally, you can expect to be asked for the basis for your conclusion as well, so before you present any evidence, I would recommend looking it over closely first.
I see. Thank you, Susato-san. This final chance that Susato-san created for me, I can't let it go to waste. I read that too fast, sorry. The defense will present evidence. Very well. In that case, the court will allow the defense to present just one piece of evidence. What is the piece of evidence that has not yet been examined in which an important clue sleeps? We will do that in the next video because we are now out of time, unfortunately. So I'll see you guys then.